Ready? All right. Good evening, everyone who is joining us here at City Hall, as well as people joining us virtually. It is 5:31, and I'm calling the October 7th meeting of the Historic Site Preservation Commission Board to order. Gavel. May we have the roll call, please, Sarah?
Yes. Chair Hansen,
Present.
Vice Chair Bachman.
Present.
Member Hare has notified us of his excused absence today. Member Marizzi.
Here.
Member Mashka Hitchcock.
Here.
Member McCready.
Here.
And Member Panessa.
Here.
So we do have a quorum.
May we have the staff report on the posting of the agenda?
The agenda for this meeting was posted for public review at the City Hall bulletin board on the west side of City Council chambers and at the planning department counter in accordance with the city's policies.
Does the board have any revisions to the agenda, including requests to remove items on the consent calendar for further discussion? Okay. May I have please a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made by member Panessa. Oh, I'm sorry, McCready, and seconded by Mashka Hitchcock. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes 6-0. All right. Moving on to public comment, this time has been set aside for members of the public to address the Historic Site Preservation Board on non-agenda items and items of general interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. Although the board values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, it generally cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. There will be 3 minutes assigned to each speaker. Testimony for public hearings will be taken later in the meeting at the time of the hearing. Staff, has anyone requested to comment on non-public hearing item or
No.
not on today's agenda?
No, we haven't received any separate public comments.
And no one online?
Nobody currently online has their hand raised.
We will now close the public comment and proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is the consent calendar. We have one item on the consent calendar, that's the approval of the minutes from the September 1st meeting. Does anyone wish to provide comments or any revisions to the draft minutes from September 2nd? Okay. May I have a motion to approve the minutes, September minutes on the consent calendar?
So moved.
And second?
Second.
All right, motion made by member Panessa and seconded by member Bach. Is there any discussion? And I will, just wait for the vote. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And I will abstain since I was not at the meeting, so 5 ayes and 1 abstention. All right, we're gonna move on to the public hearing items. Today we have a request from Jonathan Wurtzel, represented by Palm Springs Preservation Foundation, for historic site designation of the Cullerton Chaddock residence located at 572 West Santa Elena, APN 504-282-012, case number HSPB 165. Staff, can you please have the report?
3 choices. Yeah.
Can we get that in full screen? Is that full screen view? Okay.
Is my head in the way?
Nope. You're fine. Yeah.
Is that it? Okay.
I'll just go for it.
Okay. All right. So the first item before HSPB today is a single-family home addressed 572 West Santa Elena Road. The applicant is requesting Class 1 historic status for their home. So this home is located in Little Tuscany. The lot was first developed in 1947. It was originally a ranch-style home that was completed in 1947 and then completely redesigned and reconstructed in 1961 by William Cody. That was when the house was purchased by Cullerton and Chaddick. The current owners of the property would like to request Class 1 designation of the site for its historic merit. I would actually like to take a quick moment to look carefully at the aerial map that we have on the screen. The home is situated on the lot with 2 curb cuts from the street. The curb cut on the easternmost side of the lot is where the front entrance is located. The paved concrete courtyard is where a covered carport used to be located. That has since been removed. As you head west, you'll enter into the property through the gated entrance, and then you'll see the swimming pool as you are progressing through the home to the right, as you head towards the entrance of the main home. The second curb cut, as you can see, is to the west, and that is where the existing garage is located. So that's just to situate you on this particular lot. Santa Elena Road does end at the end of this lot and does not continue forward. So it is at the end of the road and does not wrap around as a true corner lot. These photographs show the home looking west with the mountains in the background. Here you can see how the footprint of the home is elevated from the rest of the site, and you step down to access the swimming pool and the lawn. This view also shows you the building massing, the materials, and it reveals the architectural style that was almost like a hybrid between the vernacular style of California ranch homes and some characteristics of the modern movement that was beginning to gain traction. The report notes that the design of the site and the home represents a Cody style, but also his versatility in how he approached architecture. So, as you all are well aware, in order to achieve historic landmark status, the resource must meet the local criteria for historic significance. A Class 1 site exhibits exceptional historic significance and must meet criteria of significance that are listed here. In the case of 572 West Santa Elena, referred to as the Cullerton Chaddick residence, it is a representation of the architectural design post-World War period, the expansion of residential development during this time became very lucrative and necessary. The patterns for residential development started to move away from small areas with density, and it became more scattered and sprawling in terms of the residential development you see in town. As mentioned in the report, the redesign by Cody exemplifies the transition or the hybrid nature of the vernacular and the modern style of architecture. It's an exemplification of the design field, but also for the architect himself. Cody is seen as a versatile architect where he is very, very well versed in both designing in the modernist style as well as the vernacular. It was during the height of his career. He did arrive in Palm Springs in 1942 and worked under many prolific architects and designed many important buildings while he worked in Palm Springs. When looking at his work, again, it's clear that he was not afraid of experimenting with different styles of architecture, and it was a constant evolution, and this building does show that with some clarity. Based on the contents of the report and the site visits, staff finds that criteria 3 and 5 are met. We move on to integrity. The analysis of integrity is especially important for reviewing these applications for Class 1. In order for many of the aforementioned criteria to be met, a certain level of integrity must be existing. The 7 criteria for integrity are listed here on this slide: location, design, setting, materials, workmanship, feeling, and association. The home, after it was completed in 1965, did sustain some alterations. However, in more recent years, owners have gone through the task of restoring many of the important design features including the low slung shake shingle roof. Although reviews of the interiors are not within the purview of our board, many aspects of the interior design and materials have been restored. Most importantly, design, workmanship, location of the structure on the site contribute greatly in expressing the historical significance. The character defining features help us analyze the design in more detail. The home's location on the site and its elevated placement on the foundation is an important component. The natural materials, the screen blocks, the angled beams, the large glass openings all contribute to a unique design of the home. And the report also clarifies that the crucifix form pools and the terrazzo pool decking were all original features designed by Cody. The material transitions from interior to exterior has been expressed seamlessly, and we saw that when we were on the site visit, and it's also shown in detail in the report. When it comes to non-contributing elements, the entry gate and the security fence outside the den space were added on later. There was also a set of sliding glass doors along the existing garage that was added at a later time. The report also identified certain landscape features, such as the fire pit and the water feature, as added features that were not part of the period of significance. The existing carport structure, again, we mentioned earlier, was removed, and that part of the property was repaved with the exposed aggregate concrete, which is a feature that you see throughout the home. In summary, the single-family residence at 572 West Santa Elena meets criterion 3 and 5 and meets the integrity findings to be reclassified as a Class 1 historic site. This application was an owner-initiated application, and staff finds that the requirements for Class 1 designation are met. The applicant team, as well as the owners, are here to answer any questions. And if you have any questions for staff or the staff report, happy to take those also.
Do any board members have questions for staff?
Actually, I do have one. Sarah, did you, when you talked about the roof, did you comment as to whether or not it was originally cedar shake? I know you said it was brought back to cedar shake. Do we know what it was originally?
I believe that it was originally a cedar shake roof that was changed to, I think it was an asphalt roof that was changed, and then it was restored back to the cedar shake roof. We do see examples of, like the Abernathy House also has a very similar aesthetic in that we have a cedar shake roof with a modernist incorporations of modernist design. So we do see that as an example for Cody as well.
Thank you.
I actually have a question as well. The recommendation of the staff report says, that you recommend the city council. It says subject to conditions. Are the conditions? Are those just that are? I'm trying to think of what, because there are no conditions specifically.
There aren't any specific conditions. I think that's usually just referencing the description of the resolution. So the character defining features, just the details related to the resolution. So there aren't any specific conditions associated with the designation.
Okay. I'm sure that was interesting. All right. Is the applicant team here today? And would you like to provide comments regarding the application?
Good evening. It's a big table.
State your name.
Yes, my name is Stephen Elon. I'm Vice President of the Palm Springs Preservation Foundation, and I wrote a nomination. I think besides the nomination and the excellent staff report, I don't really have anything else to tell you. The owners are here and fully support this. But if you have questions, I'm happy to answer anything.
I have a question. The photos of the house on the title page, it looks so like pristine, like I don't know how to, like, it looks almost like it looks almost like AI, like how pristine it is. Like literally, I mean, yeah. So I was just wondering, wanted to make sure that it's not a significantly
That's how
altered
the
or
house
digitally
looks,
retouched
so
photo.
that's
Okay,
the
cool.
house.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's it.
Apparently it's the same.
Yeah, I mean, I drove by, but I wasn't.
The same.
Yeah,
It's
I
the same. It's crazy. It's just like,
yeah.
I don't know AI,
So
so that's my
beautiful
own
house.
picture. I don't-
Thank you.
That's awesome.
it's a good question to ask these days.
All right, we might have questions potentially later, but is everybody good to move on?
Yes.
All right,
Thank you.
and no further questions for staff? So seeing no further questions, I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in the public comment and period on this item? So give your name and address. We have 3 minutes. All right, doesn't appear to be anyone in the room. Is there anyone online?
There are no raised hands online.
Okay. So seeing no further speakers on this item, I will close the public hearing and now the action is with the board. Do we have any comments or discussion before we call for the vote?
Just a quick comment. The report is so eloquent, it's so beautifully written. I had to call it out because I used to do this for a living. I wasn't that eloquent. It's a really, it's a good report. And it pretty much answers all the questions I had. So yeah, just wanted to point that out.
I want to second that. It was beautifully put together with all the comments and the history. And I learned a lot about the house, and thank you very much for doing a good job.
Yes.
I guess we should have some more substantive comments, right?
Well, I have a few things, but I will go ahead.
So,
first.
walking through the house yesterday, both inside and out, I would appreciate how the owners have really worked to kind of maintain the integrity of the house, both inside and out. Other than, from what I remember, the cover over the carport, it seems to be very much in its, I guess, remodeled state from 61. So my impression is that the house still, has a great deal of integrity for its time and architect. And it is a beautiful house and a beautiful, maintained lot. So it's nice, always nice to see those.
I have a few questions on the character defining features. Just want to make sure we catch everything since this will be in the designating resolution, which will be the document that staff can rely on when alterations are being made. I was wondering if there were any exterior lights that were original that were not called out.
Yeah, under the eaves of the house, which are
The recessed lights.
the recessed lights into the eaves, which also are synchronized and match the style of the recessed lights throughout the house.
And I don't think they were on the list. Is that correct, Sarah?
Yeah,
Can
they're
we,
not
can
listed.
we add those?
With the Fresnel lenses.
Or what?
If you're gonna add it, add the Fresnel lenses. And
Those are those ones we saw with the heavy
Yeah.
glass.
Yeah, they're really nice ones. The Fresno lens.
Can you put the character defining features back up? That would be helpful.
Okay, then my other question was about the exposed aggregate, stone aggregate paving. I didn't notice that actually either in the character defining features. I think that's unless I'm wrong. Sometimes I miss things. I think that would be important to call out.
As distinct from the terrazzo.
It was listed there, non-contributing.
It is?
Next slide.
Are they in the card?
I think it's just in that one area. I think in the others that it is original.
That's correct. So the the exposed aggregate in the motor court was an add-on that happened, but it was derived from the exposed aggregate on site that was original. So,
Can we add that then?
exposed aggregate concrete paving.
Exclusive, for paving site partners.
It was extended in the garden to, I don't know. So not everything within the garden area is original. It was used as to match it, but there were some pathways in the further out areas of the garden. So
Are we okay with Mr. Keelan in the audience? Or-
You could benefit out here.
Yeah, maybe in case we have a couple other, you know it best, I think. Well, maybe
it's hard to determine exactly what exposed aggregates original and what's not, which is why I didn't include it.
I'd hate to not do it though, because
It's something that's so evocative of that period, and I'm sure much of it or some of it's original, but I couldn't determine
it was so well
because it
done.
was so well done.
It's good to know. I don't know if there's a way to say, original areas of original. And I know, just at some point, if somebody wanted to take it all out, there'd be some consideration for it.
So areas of original exposed aggregate concrete paving, and if I remember correctly, that aggregate was smooth aggregate.
No, exposed aggregate has
The
the
stone, like the
stone
stone,
exposed.
Was the stone itself a smooth aggregate? Maybe I'm thinking about a different.
It's the stones themselves, are they
Like
smooth? Or are they,
texture.
They are.
I don't think they're smooth.
Okay.
It's usually rough.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I noticed the front door was not called out.
Well, I did discuss it in the original front door was black vinyl tufted.
Okay,
And so that was rotten when the house was restored in 2020. So they removed that, didn't restore that, but kept the hardware.
okay. Oh, okay. Can we say the hardware then? Original hardware.
So is it not it's not it's not just remove the tufted piece and the door itself is the same door. It's a complete door replacement.
No, I think they restored the door and the hardware, but took the
Tufting.
And is there
the upholstery.
any other features? I know you called it in the report, like the entry pavilion. I don't know, it's so distinctive, with the wide concrete. I didn't know if there was anything else specific to, that view when you're walking up that you wanted to call out.
Is this my list or is that
This is based on. your
Yeah,
list.
it mirrors. your
you do
list.
these a while ago?
I usually compare them to the
Mhm.
staff, see if there's things that,
The whole entry experience is important
yeah,
from the motor
that's
court,
about how I feel.
turning it at the right angle
Mhm. I that we
and the
explained it.
steps and
Yeah.
I mean, it's so coding, it's so well done.
I don't know how exactly. Would you just call it the entry pavilion, or is there more? to it?
I think it's the whole experience of moving from the motor court to
Okay.
the front door. I don't know how you would define that, but it's everything. It's the paving, it's the rough wood.
So I know we have the rough wood called out. It's rectangular. Yeah. So we have the rough wood called out. Entry experience from the motor court to the front door. And then I guess the right angle
The
portion.
progression spaces is one goes from the motor court to the front door, I guess.
So entry experience from the motor court to the front door and progression, motor court to the progression towards the front door.
The entry experience, including the progression of spaces from the motor court through the corridor leading to the front door or something.
Anyone?
Yeah. Don't worry, it's not a lot. There's no mention of the garage.
Because it wasn't crystal clear to me how much of the garage is 1947, how much is.
I'm just wondering if we want to say then it's non-contributing.
I don't know, so I didn't. If I didn't know, I didn't want to say that it was.
And the exterior is contributing because the backboard.
The board and batten is so Cody, but whether that was demolished, like much of it or not, I don't know.
Is the board and battens on here? So, yeah.
Street
yeah,
side.
article.
And the giant sliding glass door in the back is totally new.
Yeah. I wonder if there's vertical rough hewn board batten siding. Is there any way to say on the house and garage? And that way at least it'd be, or it might be in two pieces.
Well, it doesn't specify where it is because it's in a few places.
So maybe just,
If I don't know for sure, I'm not going to add it to
Yeah, yeah.
contributing or non-contributing.
you all think that's enough to just say the board and batten,
Yeah.
wherever it is. Okay.
It's distinctive. It's not even. It's
No,
very,
it's
very, very.
not like East Stewart Williams had a rhythm to it, and this is more.
That's which is interesting in and of itself. You either say varied or not irregular. What would be a better word?
Well, it says alternating narrow.
It does?
paths, yeah.
Well, that's a good word. We'll keep it at that.
And then was there anything, I know we don't do, try not to get too specific on things like trees, but I don't know, just the size of the lot, the landscaping, was there anything regarding the landscaping that we thought should be called out?
There were some palm trees, but Mr. Stewart added so many more and added mature trees. And so besides an Aleppo pine,
But I mean, even like hardscape or,
some of it's changed, some's been added to, and I'm not 100% sure.
you didn't feel like there was anything in particular?
Not in terms of plant materials or other,
Or even, a design of, planting
if I
beds.
really, it's the pool surround and
Okay.
that sort of thing.
Okay.
Because where it comes out into the landscape is a later
Okay.
sensitive addition.
And we have this, the slump stone retaining walls are also
Mhm.
like designated, and those, I assume that's referring to the
Within the
like
landscape.
tiered,
Mhm.
planting beds at the front. Okay.
Okay, those were my comments.
I'd just like to add the word original to White Terrazzo pool deck. Because it's original, right? With the cracks and everything. I mean, that's, which is great. It's
Yeah.
important. Was it repoured?
If it's under character defining features doesn't set, that suggests original.
I don't know.
The
Because,
split wood shakes are not
Split
original.
wood shakes
Those are
on, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
and if it was repoured and was identical,
Right,
you know, you'd say, well, but I like the fact that it has the cracks, I mean, which is
Mhm.
legit. It's got character.
We all,
No, I don't like cracks, please.
you're not that old.
Any other comments, suggestions?
I just wonder if site placement and it being on an elevated plinth might constitute two different points that are, if I could be misunderstanding what, were referred or is meant by the,
That's the
Or-
actual house itself on an elevated plinth.
Yeah, but then-
Versus its placement on the site.
so then the site placement would be the location of the house on in the lot space, and then the elevated plinth, it being on an elevated plinth being.
I think if you want to add how it's placed on this, on the lot itself would be a different bullet.
Okay. Yeah. I was just clarifying if the site placement was referring to that, or if it is.
Structure placement.
Sorry, is that a comment requesting it to be
Two
two separate bullets? Okay,
How
so
the house is sited on the lot is what you're,
That was my question, is if it's referring to how it's sited on the lot and it being on an elevated plinth, or just.
just the elevated plinth that the house is on.
Okay.
Not how the house is north-south on the lot.
so we would like to add
Yeah, I think maybe a first bullet.
site placement of the home and then the home on an elevated.
ready for a motion?
Are you ready? Okay, thank you. That was very helpful having you here. All right, seeing no further comments, may I have a motion? Please?
I'd like to make a motion.
Member Marisi.
I would like to nominate, I guess, what is the term? Support the staff recommendation for historic site designation of the Cullerton and Chatham residence. And with all of the associated changes, do I have to list them all to the character defining features?
I have them listed here. So
Okay,
we
good.
can go As amended.
And then there's, I guess, the motion that's in the staff report would be the motion that I'm actually referring to. And that is my motion.
There's a second.
Second.
Is that clear enough, Sarah? For a
Yes.
motion?
Second that one.
Without actually reading it. Any discussion? I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? All right, motion passes 6-0, unanimous. Okay. Get that out of my head. All right, we're moving on now to item 2B. A request by Rest Area LLC for historic site designation of the Rubin Building located at 457 North Palm Canyon Drive, APN number 513-082-007, case number HSPB 167. Staff report, please.
It does feel strange not having a mic to turn on. Moving along, second application. The Rubin Building is located at 457 North Palm Canyon Drive. It is a mixed-use building, and they are seeking Class 1 historic status. So this building was designed by Albert R. Walker and was completed in 1946. It has residential units on the upper level and commercial storefronts on the ground level. And it is a unique typology of a mixed-use building that's located in the Central Business District of Palm Springs. So the photos on the screen show the exterior conditions of the site during a recent site visit conducted by staff. A visible two-story building from Palm Canyon, the property has a simple front facade that consists of a recessed upper balcony for the residential units above, and two projecting display windows, and the entrance to the internal arcade that has more commercial space. And the commercial spaces within the arcade have individual storefronts. The architectural detailing of this building is unique in that it has a Regency Revival characteristic. Some of those architecturally translate to Doric columns, wood paneling, and decorative ironwork. The residential units on the upper level retain the original steel sash windows and the layouts that offer generous amounts of living space. The Historic Resources Report included a postcard from 1946 showing the facade of the Rubin Building on North Palm Canyon. And there were also some architectural renderings and drawings that were included as part of the report. The mixed-use nature of the building's use, the overall design features, the open arcade, the storefront designs are all important features that do remain intact. But currently, this building is identified as a Class 3 site. In order to be reclassified from a potentially historic site to a historic site, the property must meet the criteria for historical significance. As a unique mixed-use building that retains its defining features of the outdoor arcade, the storefronts, along with the residential use on the upper level, this property is an excellent example of what post-World War development looked like in Palm Springs. The architect associated with the design of this building is also one of significance. Albert Walker is a well-known architect with many landmarks in the Los Angeles area. He was also involved in designing the original El Mirador Hotel that opened in 1927, so he does have some ties with Palm Springs. As far as integrity is concerned, the design integrity, particularly the open arcade does remain intact. While modifications to certain features may have taken place over time, the feeling and association, the Regency revival style, as well as the innovative forms of mixed-use construction is very much intact. And when it comes to our inventory, this typology of building is quite rare. The character defining features of the building, one of the things that we saw instantly when we were on site is that the building does take over the entire lot. It is an internalized site with buildings on either side. The symmetry of the building is consistent with the floor plan as well as the exterior details. And the purpose of this list is to include important features as well as being able to distinguish non-original features to help mitigate adverse impacts to the resource in the future. This list focuses on architectural detailing that was provided as part of the analysis of the historic resources report. As part of this list, of course, HSPB will go ahead and discuss the details. Staff didn't include this, but does recommend some more detailed conversation happen about the open arcade feature. There was a hexagonal opening that was also identified when you walk through that arcade. As well as some of the symmetrical conditions of the design that you see on the exterior facade. Again, based on the report's information, the green granite around the entrance of the ground floor was added at a later date, as well as the metal gate in front of the arcade, most likely added on for security reasons. And then we had some other metal gates that were included at certain parts of the entrances to the stairwell, as well as the exterior, the rear entrance. And then when we were on the second floor, the mechanical equipment that was roof mounted, obviously not original, but as we saw in the floor plan, there is limited space, so it was roof mounted and put in a location that services the entire building. So in this instance, I think the site visit provided a lot of clarity. The report also provided the description of the design and the building itself. 457 North Palm Canyon, originally known as the Rubin Building, is a property that meets criterion 3 and 5 and retains sufficient integrity in terms of location, design, setting, materials, feeling, and workmanship. The owner of the property is requesting this reclassification, and staff recommends it be reclassified as a class 1 and be added to the local inventory of historic places. The owner is present to answer any additional questions that you may have, and I can answer any of the questions that are in the staff report.
Okay, do any board members have questions for staff? No questions? No. No. The applicant is here today, and would you like to provide any comments about the application or your project? Yeah. Go ahead and state your name for the record and affiliation.
Thank you. My name is Shaheen Sadeghi, the owner of the property in discussion. Any questions?
You were provided this afternoon, I'm not sure if you all had a chance, but he provided an example, nice photographs of the different restoration, rehabilitation type projects he's done throughout Southern California.
Did we get that?
We did this afternoon later today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if you wanted to comment at all on some of your other work, just so that they're aware of
If I
your
may,
expertise.
my firm, I started the company back in 1993, so we're at 31 years in. Our company is called The Lab, stands for Global American Businesses. We started off in retail. We do not work with national tenants. 100% of our tenants are mom and pops. I started the company. I was president of Quicksilver Surfing, so I was in the action sports business for many years. And so I wanted to start a retail project in Orange County for small businesses. That's where it started. It's growing to where it is today. We have restored a good dozen of historic buildings in Orange County. Most of them are very prevalent. Some of them are in the photos that I shared with you. We received 5 Golden Nugget Awards for our projects, California Preservation Awards projects. Most of the projects have been on every major newspaper, and actually from London Financial Times to Wall Street Journal, New York Times cover. So the work we've done is really, it's been pretty significant. This is my first investment in Palm Springs. My partner lives here, so that was a good reason. Our expertise are retail and restaurant operations. We operate over 100 restaurants, so, and they're all again mom and pop artisans. And this project really was kind of very close to my heart because it's kind of retail, and I really enjoyed the architect that did this project. He's the same architect that worked on the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, and I really loved the history and the fact that it was a furrier from LA that had this building built. So it really started off as retail, and it is very rare, as Ms. Yu alluded to, that it was like a mixed use back in the 40s, which was kind of a rare situation for a place like Palm Springs. You know, I mean, it would happen maybe in New York or something, but so the residential units upstairs I just found very attractive. So I'm in love with the project. I'd like to preserve it. We have put other projects on National Registry. Love to show you, but I don't have time allows, but I think you guys have it in your presentation. We purchased a building, 6-8 months ago. Previous owner was an antique retailer. Jim, his partner, Tony, they're both artists, and they've had the building for, I think, over 20 years. And they ran the shop downstairs, and they ran their, one of the units upstairs was their studio. And pretty passionate people. We discussed the project for about 40 years before we purchased it, so it didn't come easy. But we're very excited. It really, I'm looking forward to sort of keeping the integrity and restoring it to the best of its ability. I think it's a beautiful building.
Anybody, any questions?
I have a question. So how are you going about determining not only the exterior colors, front and back, but also through the because they're all different colors? Were they originally all one color, and you've done a little homework to see what the original colors might be? Are these going back to original colors?
Well, we've actually done a lot of homework, but I don't know if we had all the answers, quite honestly. From the original drawings that I think was up on the screen, so we have the original architecture drawings. The building was always looks kind of white.
Yeah.
So there is an original photograph there. It's in front of that yellow car. So it's sort of a cream color white, and that's the color that we when we purchased the building, it was green. So we did get a permit for painting it this color, but that's all of the research we did. That's the color that came up. We honestly don't have enough drawings of the interior of the building, but the research that we did was this building was actually influenced, very French influence. So, and you can kind of feel the French vibes in it. So, the interior colors all came from Paris, literally from store shops in Paris back from the 40s. So, and we decided to paint them different colors. I mean, there's sets of colors as you kind of walk through the project, because I just didn't want it to look like a mall, where it's just kind of boring. Everything gets painted beige, So each store that faces each other, so it has its own integrity. As you get to the back of the project, it gets pretty dark, you know, so we decided to go with some bright colors in the back.
In the back of the building, I see when you took that vent down, it's kind of a gray blue underneath the, whatever was removed. What color do you intend to paint the back?
Same as the front. It'll all be sort of an off-white. It's a soft white color.
Do you plan to remove the Galleria sign or the, this is just curiosity, or the green marble, around it?
Well, the gallery sign is gone. Yes,
Right, yeah.
because that was the name of the business that Jim and Tony had. Our brand for the project is Le Petit Passage, which kind of follows through the French little passage. And we turned our application in for signage, so I think we're just waiting to get that approved. But it's the plan is we have an artist that's going to hand make it out of tile. She's really fantastic, so we're waiting to get our permits for that. I honestly couldn't. Okay, so this drawing on the right hand side does not show marble. It looks to me that it was sort of the same metal that's around the window frames. And when I purchased the project, I actually wrote Jim. I said, "Did you add the marble in?" And he goes, "Absolutely not. It's original." So, you know, I can't honestly figure out if it's original or not. But we have no problem at all if we did some more research and figure out what it was. Again, this drawing is that does not look like marble. So, but we're not particularly in love with the green marble. So, if I have to make that change, I'm happy to do it. But you know, with that said, I don't think green marble looks bad. I mean, it is the type of materials they use for that time period. So it's not really unusual.
Do you have any idea how long it's been up there?
I honestly don't.
I feel
I
like
don't think we have permits for that.
my
so-
gut's telling me the 1980s.
80s.
Do you have the original postcard?
I don't have the postcard. That what you see up there's, I don't even know where we found that, but
You should get it because you could zoom in on it and you
Yeah.
could see if there's marble there.
But the original plans though are in, so it's gotta show it.
And that, yeah, that doesn't have,
The,
it has stars or something along the horizontal part.
yeah, it looks like the metal. It almost looks like the same metal they use around the window frames.
I mean, I think the marble looks not original to me.
no,
It's so bold and it's, you know,
I
it's just like
bet
too
my
much.
life. I think it's very distracting from
Yeah.
the beauty of the building, really. It takes a lot away from.
Honestly, our team feels the same. I mean, that's why like I just didn't want to go.
But you could justify it
Fair
by
enough.
zooming in on that.
Yeah,
I think our historical report. I actually honestly think she did a pretty wonderful job,
she said it was.
and she said that it wasn't. So, and I don't really, you know, I think she's really good. So I think had she said it's original, then I think it would have been a different story. But I don't think she confirmed that it was original. So I don't think any of us are fighting it, you know. So
I
But
think it maybe went up about the same time as the Lions,
the lines,
which were good without.
which we inherited, but because I think they're too heavy for Jim to move. So I have to figure out how to make them French.
I want to advocate in favor of the Lions. I love this building.
Oh, do you?
I'm very glad that you have purchased it, and that are going to restore it. And I'm glad that it's eligible for it is significant. I'm weirdly attached to this building, probably. So I'm in favor of Lions.
One thing I know, she did make one error. I'm a postcard collector. The card's actually dated 1948. So it's that photo was taken in 48. And you can tell because this is on the far right, this is
And what did she say in her?
it says right there 46. So it's 48,
Oh, okay.
which is helpful because it shows it was at least
Well,
2 or 3
I
years
think
old.
they built it in 46, so
Yeah, but I'm just saying the photo is actually a few years after it was built, which is good. It shows-
they built it in 46, right?
They did.
Also, it says penthouse apartments on it, right?
Yes.
Have you asked to see if the city would approve? Well, it's not designated, but if it was designated, would the city potentially, would you want, I mean, it says penthouse apartments and it's within 2 years of its construction. It's kind of cool.
It is cool.
I don't think you're convinced.
What's your
Would you
question?
paint to get back that says penthouse apartments on it, the same
Oh.
script?
Uh,
That's some reason they felt that was important at the time. Anyway, that's something I would find important. I don't know, it doesn't matter.
You mean to add to
I
the
think
name
from
of
a
the
retail
building?
standpoint,
You mean to add to the signage?
If you see on the right,
No, I know. I'm just
Yeah.
not sure what you're
re-
asking.
recreate that exact
The same signage.
sign.
Okay. Oh, that signage.
Right, where it is, exactly with the same type of typeface script, black, just so it really is as close to the original as you can get.
I just feel personal opinion, but so I don't have anything to. It's just in terms of the vocabulary has changed since, so I think if I put penthouse apartments up there, it's
You
not,
think you're a snob or something.
or something. Where I think I can see back then, he was one of the very few to do that. So that was sort of an attraction. Yeah. But I think today penthouse apartment is going to seem a little cheesy. And
Be honest, please.
and and I think, quite honestly, I mean, this is a retail project, so I mean, we do need people to go in and visit displays and buy antiques or whatever they want to buy in there. And so I want to probably promote it less as an apartment building and more as a retail environment, but that's just personal opinion.
It's your opinion because you own the building, so it matters.
Well, I would add, we own and operate every single one of our projects. So the operational aspect, we have a management company that manages all of these. We've not sold any of our projects in the history of the company. So we hold on to this thing, and operationally, I think we've gotten pretty good over the last decade. So it's very important for us to, design these things and make sure that they operate properly. So they're not just great looking historic buildings, but, we need to make sure they're successful. So I think some of our decisions, in terms of signage and all that really has to do with the success of making sure that it's sustainable. 100% of our tenants are small operator, creative artisans, and then honestly, it's a little bit more hand holding. So it's not like a Starbucks deal where they just mail you the check. So
Well, we get the picture.
Any other questions? Oh, we're working on that. We're gonna get there in a second. Okay. Seeing no further questions of staff, thank you. We may call you up
Okay.
when we're in our discussion phase. I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak during the public comment period on this item? If so, please give your name, address, and we'll have 3 minutes. Have you filled out a speaker form? Do we need a speaker form? Ultimately,
We can grab on
on the way out.
Yeah, on your way out. But if you want to
Yeah,
come up
love
here,
You
Larry.
need to come up though.
Be sure to fill one out before.
So my name's Larry Archie. I'm at 1633 via Roberto Miguel Springs. I have familiarity with this board. They've helped me achieve status on my home. But I didn't expect to want to speak today, but as soon as I found out that Shane was here, I just want to tell you guys that we are gifted. We're honored to have someone like this that would like to do something in Palm Springs. I had a business in Costa Mesa, just down the street from the lab and the camp, which is another place that he developed. And he just completely transformed the whole idea of retail and restaurant and gathering spaces. And I come from the surf and apparel industry, and he is just very revered. He's done some really amazing things. So I just wanted to say that, and I just want to welcome you, and I'm glad you are coming out here to take some of your magic and bring it to Palm Springs. That was it.
Anyone else wishes to speak? Okay, is there anyone online who wishes to speak on this item?
None of the online attendees have raised their hand.
Seeing no further speakers on this item, I will close the public hearing and the action is now with the board. Do we have comments and further discussion? I concur with Sarah regarding some additions and refinement on the character defining features, so we can all engage in that. Does anyone have comments other than character
I
defining
guess I had
features?
one question that wasn't clear to me. Were the last two ground floor units apartments at one point? And then they became retail, or was it retail first, then apartments and back to retail, or? Because weren't the last two units on the ground floor?
I think they were offices.
Would you like me to come up with?
I guess so, because you're the only one that would be able to answer it, apparently.
Peter, did you go upstairs?
But I mean, the ground floor, we had heard some comment at the house meeting, anyway.
Um, the real answer is we're not sure. And the reason I say that is because the units in the back actually have showers in them. And
Ground,
correct. And I can tell at some point they had a bathtub in there. And so there must have been studios, or maybe they were retailers that kept a shower in there. Honestly, it's hard for me to tell. From all of the studies that I've looked at, including our third-party consultant that did studies, the residential has always been upstairs. But if some of the units were used downstairs as residential, it seems like the city would have a better record of that. But
so it's not really clear.
I honestly I don't have any clarity on that.
I can add a little bit from the report. The report did indicate that there may have been a time where the renting of the office space may have been difficult, and so they may have been transformed into studio apartments at one point in time, and now they're obviously commercial spaces, but there may have been some sort of conversion that happened for those last two.
Almost like
years.
it wasn't designed that way. It was commercials. That was the intention. Okay.
I don't think the plans showed.
You're right.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, I don't know how you want to proceed on the comments on character defining features. I'm happy to start if you would like, because I know when we were there at the site, you know, what really struck me was the typology of the arcade shopping and the mixed use. And I also kind of fell in love with the building too for those reasons, because it's just not something that we see a lot of. And we also talked a bit about, and I don't know, Peter, you know, we don't have to get into any great discussion, but you know, the context statement doesn't really talk about mixed use at all. And I think there were some other arcade type buildings in Palm Springs that were filled in. And I don't know if people are aware of some of those.
Would you consider the plaza to be semi-arcade? Because you walk down the corridor in the front?
Probably.
Because that's mixed use.
I mean, the arcade, but I'm talking about the shopping
Going straight down the middle.
with the, I'm not talking about the actual, you know, an arcade can be just an architectural feature. I'm talking about the fact that there were shops all along the interior. But, so I'm not sure about that, but I know it's, you know, and you would never know that from the outside of the building. So I was, so excited to see it after knowing what it looked like from the front, and then the thrill of going upstairs and actually going in the residential unit, which was absolutely gorgeous. So, so I think, you know, it feels to me like the character defining features are just almost just a bunch of features without giving you this sort of unified feeling of what this building actually is, and then maybe picking apart what the features are based on maybe discussing like as a first bullet point, you know, the whole mixed use commercial arcade property type. And then also, I don't think it's in here anywhere, you know, the pointing out first floor our shopping arcade that goes the full length of the building from front to back. The symmetry of the design all along the arcade, and then that there are 4 residential units on the second story, 2 2-bedroom units and 2 1-bedroom units. That gives you a full feeling already of, okay, this is what this is. And then we can go into, you know, what some of the specific features are. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So in addition, for me, what's already on here, obviously all of those would stay, but I would also point out the light well, sort of rear portion, because it's also a feature of the second floor when you're up
Mhm.
there.
With the octagonal, like,
Yes. And the open space around it. Which I think you're gonna enhance. And then on the second floor, I would also call out that open space in between the units. Um, see what else I have here. Trying to go from most important to. I think it's important to mention that the roof is side gabled because it creates the roof line inside the apartments.
Mhm.
No, we're not gonna get too much into interior details, but it creates the whole roof line. At least, it doesn't do that in all four, or is it just the front apartments? Cause we only went in the two in the front.
I think so.
Cause from the aerial, you could see that the roof had a real low gable. Also on the second floor, call out the chimneys, cause they're fireplaces in those apartments. And also on the second floor, I would call out the wood siding on the apartments, because the rest of the building is stucco. And I think, Sarah, you'd probably, after some general stuff, maybe, separate some of the second floor stuff. Let me see. I think, this is on some of the existing. I might make a little bit of changes to. There's one, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 down. It says front display windows with metal trim. I would say projecting, because it also was described as being flat. Those display windows are projecting.
I have a question. Is that trim metal?
Is
It is, because it almost, or maybe I'm thinking of one of the other windows. It looked like it was wood, but painted that kind of bronze color.
Well, the exterior front, the windows that project out, those are metal. And some of the interior storefronts are metal and some are wood. The windows upstairs, those are all steel, original.
Mhm.
Metal windows.
And then the transom openings above the doors, I don't know, maybe it doesn't need to be, they are where they are, but they're in the arcade. There's nothing, the transoms are in the arcade specifically, but maybe that's implied because that's where they are. On the steel frame casement windows on apartments, I think it's important to mention that some of them are the bay windows, because those are really characteristic of the style too. So there's steel frame casement windows and bay windows, something like that, just to make sure that we're calling them out. I was also, I think this is the one where bulkhead window units and trim, what is that referring to? Sarah? That's a great question. Let me take a look here.
I think that's, so in the report, it describes it in the following. The large display windows of the interior suites are framed in wood and sit on bulkhead clad with existing flagstone veneer treatment. So
Yeah.
it's talking about,
Okay, and then I think that it's kind of what I thought, but I think it needs to talk about the flagstone.
Like the steps,
It's not mentioned.
the stairs.
No, it's underneath the windows, the display windows, and in the front. So now the front
Well,
is
also
building.
the planters in the front.
Yeah, the planters in the front. I think that might be the front planters. It just says with stone veneer.
So the flagstone, the like peachy flagstone that matches that, those stones, the stone masonry, that's original to the building as well.
I think here, yeah, on her report, it says the butt and veneer used to class bulkheads in the arcade. So maybe, and that is actually what it says on the original plans called it the butt veneer.
What end?
Meaning it's on the ends, stacked. Yeah, I looked it up.
Good for you.
So it is in the report, but I think we should add it. Be a little bit more specific on that particular bullet point to refer to the stone. Because it is in a character defining features. It was a little more specific. It's on page 23, Sarah, if you wanted to look later. So the last point on the first level arcade. Second floor, also, I think that the shutters are significant. And I think my last might be, I think those fluorescent lighting in the arcade is original.
Well, the glass, it's very odd, that glass element, but is it 46? Seems, I don't know, fluorescent, I don't remember what fluorescence.
I looked it up.
Well, fluorescence.
General Electric now. Fluorescent in 1938, they marketed it.
Wow, because the glass,
It's quite.
it looked
lovely.
very original.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
nice.
they were fluorescent tubes were patented by GE in
Very
38.
interesting if that turns out to be.
So it could be, yeah. I mean, if you look at the casing and the
Right.
glass, it
They're
looked original to me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Just seemed, I didn't realize that fluorescence at all.
What do you think the original verdict lights in the arcade might have looked like? Since those are probably glass overheads, these new ones are very different.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know if, there were any, you didn't take anything out to put those in, right? Yeah. Those were added recently, the ones that are there on the walls. That's what I'm saying.
Might have been just a very dark.
Yeah,
arcade
might have
before
been with just the tube lighting. Like I say.
Did you have any more? 'Cause
I
had
think,
one.
I think that would be it for me.
One of the things I was thinking about was, and this photo shows it, especially when you talk about lighting, I was kind of fixated on those, I think there are 3 of them. They look like these old attempts at a can light where it just has a metal shade on one side. They up at the top on that overhang.
the overhang.
Where it had basically a light bulb that came down that was on the building side, and then there was a metal shade around it.
The shield on the front.
Yeah, exactly, a shield. And to me, those kind of looked like the time frame of the 40s.
And this is a balcony.
Mhm.
With the doors, to the bedroom.
Do we know, is there a way for us to know whether that lighting and the fluorescent lighting is original? or is it just, or is it like a educated?
Well, I
Yes.
have to honestly say I didn't pay as much attention as you did to those. I felt like the fluorescent, just the way that they're mounted, they look original to me.
Yeah, me too.
That thick, heavy glass.
But we were just saying, clean the glass and even paint it, you know. So, you wanna come up?
So our research shows that the lights are not original, but it's just hard to verify whether they were originally. I'm happy to keep them and clean them and paint them. We don't mind them, but
And are you referring to the fluorescent?
both all the lighting inside, yeah, and the ones that are up on the software, I honestly can't tell. They don't look like very good quality, so I think from aesthetic standpoint, I know we can do better. We can find something that's period correct. It's not necessarily modifying the building, but the ones on the interior, I looked into it pretty significantly, and I just don't think they're original. But
Same with the fluorescent again.
correct.
But what makes you think that? I mean, unless you have some documentation.
Because it looks like there was the way they were set in. It looks like there was something else there, but I can't tell. Again, I don't mind them. You know, that's
Well, they have achieved significance in their own right since their installation.
It's okay.
It is a thing.
that sounds legit.
It is. It's a legitimate thing.
So
So,
I mean, I'm happy to store them. Again, I don't mind them. I probably mind the ones that are out in the software a little bit more because I just don't think they look attractive. But
Probably do something that lend a little more
something a little classier.
They were the postcard though. The postcard from 46 or 48 that showed them as
some
well.
type of light.
I mean, it looks similar to that light, at least.
You really can. If you have the postcard, you could zoom in. It really, you can do that. It's amazing how much detail there is in those cards.
Yeah.
I might even have a card.
I mean, you can see it. Like, yeah, right there.
I may have another shot of it too, from a different angle. I mean, it's hard because it's just a reproduction of the screen.
Because the surround there also looks, it doesn't necessarily look like green
But
marble, but it does look darker than the storefront in the
yeah, they,
architectural drawings.
all right. By the way, just occurred to me, when we were in one of those apartments, we saw the glass block, and we wondered if that was original. Would that be visible in there? I mean, I don't remember where the glass block was in relation to the front of the building.
In the living room.
So it's further back.
Yeah,
So it might not be in that photo.
it's further back.
Okay. What is that window that's in the photo in the upper floor facing north? Huh?
Yeah.
From 1946?
That's an air conditioner.
That seems odd.
So you're saying that
Light thing?
this is an
Yeah.
air conditioner?
Really?
I can tell you, there was a hole there.
I mean, it might have been a window.
Just a window.
It's a window.
I don't think it was a window. There was air conditioner in there.
This is
Yeah, it was a time that you just
2025.
plug it in the outside.
There's a different mechanical
Oh, anyway,
system.
it was a question.
I had a question about adding to the character defining features. Would the angled the angle of the front doors to the shop, and then I'm not sure if this is addressed in like the bulkhead or the display windows or something, but the recessed interior shop storefronts that they're not flat. They are this like storefront window leading into a door. They're like bumped out.
You could probably add the angled stone, like in the discussion of the protruding windows, so that makes that.
I almost, I would describe it, because I don't think the windows are bumped out. That is flush with the wall, but the doors are
You would say
recessed.
reset, you would
Yeah,
say. there's
that's
more
how I would
recess.
describe it.
Yeah,
But these are angled too.
They are, but that this and this
Yes.
is just flat with
Yes.
that
Yeah.
long wall.
Correct.
yeah.
But the doors are recessed, and it is that
No,
this is angled.
these are protruding.
Well, we're not this. We're
Oh.
talking about the arcade, no, not the front.
Oh,
Well, they're both, I was gonna say the angle or the appearance and angle of both, either they're different, but yes, the interior arcade storefront, you would say they aren't recessed, you'd say it was a bump out.
well, these are, we already said these
I
are
think
projecting,
it
the
should be
window is
separate to
projecting out.
accomplish what you're
Right.
describing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the
Recess,
and then the doors, the front entrance doors are at an angle. Like not just the windows, like the doors are into the stores are at an angle.
Yeah.
And then the interior arcade, the windows are bumped out or they're at a or recessed.
do we have a better picture?
Of the front doors.
The interior, the arcade. That's what you're talking
There
about.
was one that looked. There was a photo that looked down the arcade. There. It's kind of hard to see, but
Yeah.
see, because it's a long flat wall within the doorways inset.
That's good.
So just to summarize what you're saying, it sounds like there are two interior angled storefront with recessed doors that are at an angle, and then the angled wooden doors on the front facade.
Yeah.
So we're calling out both of those.
There is a couple of doors in the interior though that are also angled, like where you hit that the light well.
Yeah.
Those doors, like maybe a slide before this showed it. So the angled doors probably needs to be called out in both.
So I think with this one, Chair Hansen had mentioned the symmetry of the arcade and the storefronts. So I think what we'll do is add that in as a detail because they are on both sides. And I think the floor plans do reflect that. I think they are the original floor plans with each of the storefronts do have a shading kind of zigzag. So we'll try and incorporate that and then reference the drawings because I think that would be a more accurate representation than trying to describe all of the undulating storefronts that are symmetrical on either ends.
Now there was one door I think that you pointed out yesterday when we were there that was sealed up where there was two storefronts merged. Does that need to be called out that there was that modification at some?
Yeah, I think we can incorporate that in under non-contributing elements, saying that one of the original doors were enclosed. That enclosure is not original. I did take a quick look, Peter, at your comment about the opening on the side. It does look like it corresponds with the postcard and the glass blocks in terms of the opening. So I don't know if that opening was filled with glass block or if it was a different type of window, but that opening does look original. And then underneath that opening, there is the AC unit that you're mentioning, which is a window unit AC that they have cut out and put in. So it looks like at least the opening is original. So if you'd like, we can add that opening as an original feature, but I don't know if it can get as far as drilling into saying that's glass block.
Opening is fine.
I just have one last clarification question. The painted cast metal tracery used on staircases and walk cresting. That refers to the tracery along the balcony, the primary facade balcony, as well as the like railings in the interior, like upper units.
I think so.
Yes. Do you want me to specify that it's upper balcony then?
As long as it's clear to everyone else. I was just wondering if that's what it was.
It's in the private and the public.
And I have a question for staff about the lions.
About, the lions?
Are the lions actually on the property of or in the public? They're actually on the property of the building, so within the boundary of the.
Entry court, or whatever, yeah.
And I don't know if you know this in terms of if that's actually on the property line. It's on the property. It's on the, within the property. Within, okay, so it's not encroaching.
Because I think if that's the case, then the lion should be added as a non-contributing feature. I'm so sorry.
Significant in its own right.
It's
Like the fluorescent lighting.
It
I don't know.
achieves significance on its own.
Achieved significance in its own right.
Personally, I don't think, I'm not adding any conditions of approval to this because I think the building even as is. But I would highly recommend taking the marble off the front. I don't like the lions. Yeah, the marble and the lions are a set that needs to, just me. And
No, it's
then,
not just you.
and I would,
You want them for your front door.
I would also, highly recommend, changing that front gate that is not contributing as well. The front entrance gate, and there's enough other metal that is original that could maybe, or look more at the original plans, zoom in on that postcard, see if there are any other historic photographs of the building potentially, I don't know. But, we do have the original plans, there's gotta be some level of detail.
Yeah.
And try and recreate something, I think it would transform it into the 1940s.
Yeah, the cricket is very scary.
The lions, like, they're not on the building, so
Intimidating.
that's just my personal opinion. It's
Kitschy. It's like the whole building. Like it's Regency. I don't know. I love them, but that's just literally just my personal attachment to them as a small child, like walking by them every day or like all the time.
Well, the
So,
lions?
and like riding them
reservation
as a
is not
child.
about your feelings
I know.
as a child.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm not arguing that they're non-contributing elements. They are.
I walk
just,
by
I
this
like
every
them.
day.
That's it. I'm attached to them.
Okay,
I like them. They are non-contributing elements to the building.
May I add a contributing element at this time?
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna seem silly. The flower pot indentations in the
oh,
balcony.
yeah,
railing.
balcony,
That was,
And there's also little water spigots that
there were,
service those pots.
what a detail.
Isn't that interesting? I've never seen that before, actually.
they're on the balcony walls, they're on the second story.
They're in pairs.
Inset.
Yeah, they're pairs. Now, in the 1948 postcard, you don't see any flowers there, but it was designed to have flowers. So that's what. Can I go further?
Yeah.
Go.
So in the report, I don't remember this. Is there a discussion of mixed use examples in our city?
There-
Okay, well, I have some knowledge of this, just in the top of my head, because I don't think we should imply that this is such a unique thing. I mean, it's rare, but it's not that unique. The entire La Plaza Shopping Center is mixed use. The entire upper floor is apartments. Albert Frey's Coker Sampson building from 1936 is still mixed use. It's an apartment upstairs. The Villalona property on the corner of Villalona and Palm Canyon, I believe that there is residential upstairs, or it may be a hotel at this point. but I believe that was originally mixed use. And then the two-story Spanish building at Tamarisk in Palm Canyon, the tower, I believe that was mixed use as well.
And where the one that we designated?
Do we? The tower?
The Pacific Building?
Well, it's Spanish. I think it's from the,
No, no.
it had a fire. Right? Didn't it have a fire?
Which one?
The Spanish building at the corner of Tamarisk. Anyway, it's the Spanish building. That's what I'm talking about. 2 stories with the tower.
Arcade
Yeah.
downstairs, apartments above.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the exterior stairway, second level apartments, where the stairway's caving in on itself?
I don't remember. I
It's
just remember
the
looking
one
at,
with the tower in the corner.
Yeah.
That's the Pacific Building.
is that what it's called? Okay.
Um,
But my point is that there's, there is some, and we should make, I think that needs to be in the report. Since it's not correct to imply, wow, this is the last one. Can you put up the 48 postcard? Okay, so the building next to it is gone, which was also mixed use.
The building next to it,
That
that
with
one,
the arrow.
that one still exists. There's an
It
infill
does?
building in between.
Oh, I was looking at them from Street View, I didn't see it.
Yeah, that one exists. It doesn't, I think the features look a little bit different, but that building,
Well, it's been radically altered.
it has been altered.
Yeah,
And
so
then
anyway,
there,
my point is up there, that's another example right there of mixed use. So, I mean, Palm Springs is interesting in that way, that it had a lot of mixed use.
30s, 40s.
Yeah. So,
I think to Chair Hansen's point is, it's not that it's a unique typology, it's one that maybe is most complete and surviving and
Well,
still.
not even that. I mean, there is mixed use, but this was also the mixed use with a shopping arcade.
yeah, no, I don't dispute the arcade aspect.
Yeah.
Just the concept, because La
Yeah.
Plaza is huge and it's
Yeah.
full of apartments.
Well, and I think it would
but
have,
it's not apartments anymore,
Oh,
yeah,
not
but
necessarily.
still,
Yeah, they could be,
yeah.
they could be rented out if you
Yeah.
just restored them.
but not for residents.
Sure.
Probably.
It
I
could be,
thought when the city decided they didn't want mixed use in the 90s, I think, that had to become 100% commercial. So now those are like lawyers' offices,
Yeah,
right?
it's
there.
nobody upstairs.
no, but there's still the original use
Yeah.
as mixed use. And even if they weren't always going to be offices, there's, you could think of it as an early adaptive reuse. to
And those,
office space.
those,
It still meets the
aspects could
typology,
be changed by the city. They could say, well, let's, you can, if you want to, you can make it residential again.
but it doesn't need to be current
doesn't have
residential to make the
But it
typology.
was,
important.
a lot of them, there's 2 layers, and it's a big deal.
It would have been nice to have, again, there was not much in the context statement about
That's what I want to add.
mixed use
Put that in there, just to make,
or the report, yeah.
that's what I
And probably because there wasn't a lot of secondary information to draw from. And
yeah,
sometimes you
you
have,
could just drive around and see it.
or if you look at Sanborn maps, it would have told you. Which one.
I'm done.
No, it's a good point. Good point.
I one, I may have missed it fully. Contributing detail, the pavers, the stone pavers of the arcade, is that listed?
Yes,
Okay,
the
good.
flagstone,
Flagstone, I
Yeah.
missed that.
I
Thank you.
believe it is.
And also the steps that go to the second floor,
That too, yeah. Paved stone
that little
pavers
staircase,
throughout.
Oh, that's a good point.
Thank you.
that treacherous little staircase. As you pointed out, it's treacherous.
Beautiful.
You should
There's
look
two.
up the
There's one on-
records.
They're on both sides, aren't there too?
You should look up the records at one of those hospitals. See how many people have fallen down that over the years after a party or something. They're really shockingly treacherous. But don't change it.
Trying to see where I thought there was,
I don't think it's there, so
I
that.
thought it was.
Pavers,
Maybe it's on
Yeah.
the
Oh, it's
list
inside
or in the report,
It
but
should
it
be.
didn't make it
Is
here.
It's so.
I think
so
it's in the
obvious.
Yeah.
report, Sarah.
I missed it.
It
Consultant
matches the
report.
rest of the
It's
place.
all.
Uh, Flagstone paving on the floor. Oh, yes, I highlighted it
And the steps.
because it wasn't there. Well, in this one sheet, it just says Flagstone paving on the floor and the butt head veneer. Those were 2 different things we already addressed with them. So just say the Flagstone paving. And then you wanted the stairway.
Stairs.
Which is Flagstone.
Oh, they are?
Yeah,
It's the same.
the Flagstone steps.
Same
I don't
surface.
remember that specific.
I love Flagstone. So I noticed.
Okay. See, we love it so much. We paid such good attention.
It's full of details.
So when we add it all together, we really kind of covered it.
I think this is really exciting
Yeah.
because it's,
Great.
you don't often get commercial property owners who are willing to nominate properties. And
That's
so that's a
very
real thrill to begin
Yes.
with. I think I've seen one other commercial building in the 5 years I've been on this board. And I think there was residential involved, but original. And it's just, it's lovely, and it was such a treat to be able to go in through the whole thing and upstairs. I just,
Very special building.
Yeah. the feeling that you got seeing that whole building, it's just like,
Would you like
amazing.
to nominate it?
Well, I,
Make a motion?
well, wait a minute, let me get my script down. Make sure I'm following. All right, so is there any further discussion? All right, seeing no further discussion, do we have a motion?
Oh, no, you do it then.
You do. You love it.
Sure, I'll do. I move that we close the public hearing and adopt resolution HSPB number 167, recommending that the city council designate the Rubin Building located at 457 North Palm Canyon Drive as a class 1 landmark historic resource with the discussed additions, changes to the
Revisions to the character defining.
revisions to the character defining features.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, and also the addition of the context, the elements of the context.
So that
Let's choose.
To where would we be adding that to? The resolution?
I don't know. I mean, is it, are we allowed to,
Because I think at this
request
point, yeah.
that the report
that we could do
indicate that?
I have it listed as mixed use typology description in criterion 3, which talks about particular period and adding that additional context of mixed use in Palm Springs with the
Examples.
examples that you provided.
Great.
Okay, that works.
And it would be as part of your resolution,
Good.
not part of the report.
Right. That's fine. Okay, we have a motion by Mashka Hitchcock,
Mashka Hitchcock.
and a second by Maruzi. Oh, I'm sorry. And Nessa. Any further discussion? All right, I will call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion passes unanimously, 6-0. And good luck.
Thank
We're
you.
really excited.
Welcome to Palm Springs. I'm glad
Yeah.
you're here.
Very much. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
We're just the gatekeepers, so we'll do a good job, promise.
Thank you.
We're excited.
Thank you.
All right. We are moving on now to C. Is everybody good? An application by Z List Revocable Trust, 5/18/2015, represented by MWDA for historic site designation of the Robinson residence at 999 Potencia Road, APN 505-251-005, case number HSPB 169. Do we have a staff report?
Yes, we do. So our last request for designation is the Robinson residence. It's at 999 North Potencia Road. Look at the aerial to start. This home is on 1 acre of land designed by architects A. Quincy Jones and Frederick Emmons. And the period of significance for this site is its completion date in 1957. When you look at this photo, you can see how the site technically abuts 2 different streets, but access is limited to Potencia Road. The home, as you see here, is an irregular L-shaped floor plan. You have the paving that curves around in terms of the vehicular access, and the garage is located at the far northwestern corner of property. And also in this area, you can see the long covered entry walkway. It's really a porte cochere, which was identified as a character defining feature for the architect, and it extends towards the east of the property. And lastly, you see the site location of the original pole. Here's some additional photos of the exterior of the property. Again, you'll see that horizontality of the home, as well as the materials used to create that articulation and hierarchy that you see. The sun flaps, the large fenestration, the steel columns, the geometry, they all contribute to a very subtle and simple pattern that you see throughout the home. This slide it compiles some historic photographs that are available from the Palm Springs Historical Society. I believe there was an article in the Desert Sun back in October of 2024 that showcased these photographs. These are from 1955. It includes an array of construction photographs that show the context surrounding the site and photos taken after the building was complete. In this photo, especially the black and white photos, you see that this home has a very pavilion-like characteristic. It is a home, but it is quite large. But you can clearly see that with the effect the large expansive glass has and the vertical supports that are very thin. It's a very unique characteristic of this home. So going straight into the criteria, 999 Potencio Road is a home designed by architects that have made a significant impact in the field, locally and probably globally. I think many are well acquainted with some of their works, especially locally, Sunnylands and Rancho Mirage. Country Club Estates Historic District was also done by Inglesy Jones. And so we're pretty familiar with this board about this architect and his significance. This home is an exceptional example of mid-century modern design. It's at a residential scale, but the attention to detail, as you saw on site, is pretty precise. Going through the integrity, because this is a request for Class 1 designation, we find that the location, the design, the setting, the materials, workmanship, the initial feeling of the site in its original context, and its association to mid-century modern design and the architects are all intact. It is an incredible property to walk through. The character defining features, there are many. They are listed here on this slide, and I won't go through all of them, but as expressed earlier, we have the large expanses of glass, the different types of materials that create a hierarchy. We do see that it is a elongated L-shaped floor plan with horizontality, but that single story building has articulation vertically, which is very unique and important to the design. We also see materials like you see in that slide, the stone detail that you see that also provides additional articulation and detail. We see this throughout the exterior as well as some of the interior features. And so these are all important characteristics that we see. This is, of course, the characteristics continued. Some of the things that I wanted to point out in terms of non-contributing elements, the hedge around the property is an added feature. The existing driveway and gate that we saw when we entered into the property was also an added feature to the site. If we actually go back to the original photograph, the photograph in the center to the bottom, you'll see that that was kind of that original opening. So it was open. You see the portico share. You see the glass kind of privacy fence, and since then we have a gate that gives it a bit more privacy and security. And along with that, the CMU walls were added. And then in your report, there was a diagram that clearly stipulated the areas in which there were additions that occurred in the 1970s. This was added to what was previously the maids' quarters, and then there was an area of the building, and maybe I can just show the photos just to be a little bit precise. If you look at the photo, top right hand, the color photo, you'll see that that area where the sun flap is has been filled in, and there's actually a chimney that extrudes out. I think everyone saw that on the site. So the footprint of the building is original, but that area where the sun flap was has been enclosed and bumped out. So that was part of that addition that happened in the 70s. To conclude, the Historic Resources Report gives a very detailed description of the history of the site, the various owners, and with the information, we can see that much of the existing home is original in its design, its context, and its association with its architect. Criterions 3 and 5 are met, sufficient integrity is found, and staff believes that this property should be reclassified from its class 3 status as a class 1 historic landmark. The owners are presenting this designation application before the board. And staff is in full support of the request for class 1 designation. I believe the homeowners and the applicant rep are joining us virtually. So if you have any questions, they are online. And if you have any questions about the staff report, I'm happy to answer those.
First, see if we have any questions for staff. Sarah. Okay. Why don't we then go to the applicant or the team online? We can have some comments from them regarding the application.
Hi there, my name is Mark Daniels. I'm a Palm Springs-based architect and representative of the project. The homeowner, as Sarah mentioned, is here with us as well via Zoom. We want to thank Jade Nelson, our historian, for his level of detail and thoroughness in his report. His findings, which were quite significant at the A. Quincy Jones Historic Archives, were vital and are vital to our collective understanding of the home and property. We'll defer to Jade's report as it is quite thorough, but we're here to answer any questions as needed.
Have any questions for the owner applicant? All right, we may circle back. I think we're okay for now. Thank you. So seeing no further questions, I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in public comments on this item? If so, please come up to the front of the room, give your name and address, and you will have 3 minutes. Do we have anyone else online that wanted to speak?
There are no other hands raised.
Hands raised, okay. Seeing no further speakers, I will close the very short public hearing. Now the action is with the board. Are there any comments or further discussion between the board members?
When I first came to Palm Springs in the 90s, I heard about this house. And then in the Vanity Fair article that came out in 2000, there was a feature about the property owners, and there's a photograph of the 2 owners sitting in the living room. It's so beautiful. And but the house was never ever open to the public. So all the years that various organizations have been trying to gain access never occurred, including this time because we couldn't get inside, which was a shame. But yeah, I know there's big face prints on it.
Those are all Peter's face prints.
So, but it's an extremely important building, the Quincy Jones, and it has a lot. I was thinking of the Romanovs on the Rocks from 1950 has a lot of those elements. Collapses in a lot of the way it's organized is very similar to the this house, and so of course Romanovs is now nothing like what it is. It's now a church that's curvy. So. I strongly support the nomination. The level of integrity is very high. It's beautiful, and just as an object. Yeah, just it means a lot.
Any other board members? Yes.
Yes, I'd like to and congratulate and thank the authors of the application. It was thorough, not too thorough, but very much in depth. Gave an extraordinarily clear picture of the history of the ownership and the building, and I support the application without reservation.
I of course have one comment on the character defining features. I didn't see mentioned, I believe on this one, that the front door and the entry walkway are original, and I did not see those in the character defining features.
Is that so? Is it?
I think so.
I mean, is it the original? Do we know?
I think they are. I think there was a photo in the
Yes,
packet
there
that
was.
said original door and walkway. Excuse me.
Red
Mhm.
slash.
So I believe they are. Are you checking that, Sarah?
was actually checking the character defining feature list. We do have the portico share and the long covered walkway canopy with cutouts listed. So you're mentioning that the actual door.
Yeah, the door itself, yeah, well, you said the walkway up to the door.
Yes.
The concrete walkway.
Yes.
But I don't know if you wanted to double check, but I believe it was, I saw a photograph. That's why I added it, because it's a original front door.
You are correct. There is a note on one of the images that says original front door and walkway.
Okay. Seems important to keep the front door. Those were all of my comments other than to echo sentiments. Massive open space inside. I think I have some face prints on this one.
It's a huge house.
It's
I remember
huge.
it's like 7,500 square feet and only, I think, 3 bedrooms. I mean, it's massive, massive rooms. I would just like to add on to Peter's comments that one of the things I love about this house is it seems like it was built for kind of the golden age of Palm Springs and entertaining by the kind of Palm Springs elite families with those massive rooms, that huge yard that just kind of goes on, and a big giant pool meant for entertaining. And that's what I love about this house.
All right.
And that makes me wonder, can we define it's a full acre lot? We talked about that it's so,
That's
so
true.
massively scaled. Can we say
Yeah,
that full
I
acre
think
lot
so.
is a very powerful?
Yeah.
symbol.
In the way the house is positioned on the lot.
Yeah.
She has the location on it, the terminus, but yeah, maybe that's a good idea, Sarah. Maybe add
Massive.
the positioning of the house on the lot and the full 1 acre
Size of the lot.
property.
Another thing I may have missed was the exposed I-beam columns. I'd hate to see those covered up, but on the exterior, they're just amazing. And I could imagine someone wanting to cover those up. I didn't see those in there, were they?
First from the bottom.
They're from the bottom. Oh, there we are. Beam, okay,
I think those are you're referring to?
Yeah. thank you.
Because when you talked about those, though, I thought that was referring to the vertical ones. Are you?
Right, yeah, they're an I-beam is how you refer to them as a structural element, but, yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, I should say, I mean, it should change to steel I-beams.
Because that is a specific shape.
Right.
If someone wanted to fill in it with masonry or stucco or something, I would cry.
We don't want that.
Thank you.
Go ahead and add in exposed I-beam structure.
Other board members?
One other thought. In the remake of Ocean's 11, 10 years ago, there's a full view of the interior. There's a lot of the movie shot in there, especially when they're planning the whole paper. But you can see it's all spread out. I mean, you get a really good view of it from, I think, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, something like that.
Which one are you talking
Yeah,
about?
it was like
2001?
Yeah, the more recent
Yeah.
version.
It's 2001.
Was that long ago? Really?
Jeez.
I recognized it from that movie.
You did?
I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's so
me
good.
too. Didn't know it was that old though.
It was the scene where Brad Pitt and Ben Affleck meet with Elliot Gould to
Yeah.
finance their
That's right.
project.
That's right. So that's the only another interior of it. You know, I could see it there, but never got to see it personally.
Yeah.
The owners on Stone Line. Just to encourage you to make it available once it's.
Sarah, have you have everything you need?
So I'm just gonna recap. So we've added 3 to the character defining feature, positioning of the home on a 1 acre lot, original front door, and exposed I-beam columns. I think those are the only 3 that we've added to the list that we have here.
Well, we're ready to make a motion. There's no other comments. Who would like to make a motion?
I'll move to accept the staff recommendation to, designate this as a class 1 historic resource.
And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Alright, so we have a, actually,
Thing.
Just to seek clarification, the staff recommendation as amended with the 3 additional,
Yes.
okay,
yes, with the additional.
with the 3 additional character finding features.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second by board member.
Before we vote on that, I
Yeah.
apologize.
No.
I have a question. This seems like to me a rare example of where the original architect actually did the addition. Is that something that's worth calling out, or is that, I mean, it's not really a character defining.
The report says.
All right.
I don't know how you would know. I don't know how rare that is, but I mean, it's in the.
It depends. I mean, Albert Frey used to do lots of editions, so Easter Williams and others, but not Quincy Jones. I mean, it's so little. So that's important that he actually was involved.
I think in this instance, the period of significance was identified as when it was constructed. The additions, while they're sensitive, I think it is a deviation from the original design, so we did not include those as character defining features for that purpose. I think the report indicated that there was a request to expand certain spaces for programming purposes, but we've identified as the 57 as the period of significance, and that being kind of the original design and footprint.
And I think also, you know, the record for the property will have all that. So if someone later on doing research will know that fact. So, okay, are we ready to vote? No further comment? Okay, we have a motion by member Panessa and seconded by member Bachman. No more discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion passes unanimously, 6-0. Congratulations.
Hopefully we're still on here.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Wherever you are.
We're moving on to unfinished business, which we don't have, so we will move on to new business. Let's see, reports, requests, and comments. Is there any board member who would like to make some general brief comments about issues of concern to the board?
No, it's in process now.
Anyone?
I provided an update on what's going on with some preservation issues via email. I hope everybody got it.
Yes, I did.
Leave it at that.
Anyone else? I had just a couple of things. I know you're all surprised. I just wanted to reiterate again, I'm still interested in the naming of this group as a board versus a commission. And if there's any particular reason why it would not be a commission. I know most cities, they are. Remember I asked a year ago. And then I just wanted to reiterate I'm not sure if it's a request, an idea presented by member Marusi about a 1970s historic context statement in Palm Springs. And I think it would be a really important one to do. I think right now there's a little bit of a problem with certified local government grants. I don't know if the city has money to do anything like that. I'm getting us no at the end of the table.
Really? But I mean, CLGs, I mean, this is
Well, the certified local government
It's a
program is kind of on hold.
isn't that a state program?
It's a state pass through.
Federal
It's
funding
That's
through from the National Historic Preservation Act.
That's unfortunate.
So because of things at the federal level,
What?
there were none issued this year.
Really?
There were no grants this year.
Jeez.
And I think it's, too late to do anything this year, so we'd be going into next spring potentially. you know, we occasionally get an update from my position on the state commission, but we haven't had a word that any money's forthcoming at any time.
Had they already been announced and then
No.
pull them back? Oh.
No, they were never even announced.
They never accepted any applications.
Yeah.
Is there any benefit of pitching it, knowing it'll be rejected or won't happen, but at least it's in the system?
They're
They
not
don't want
accepting.
it.
They just are not taking.
No, yeah, they're not
so it's not
yeah.
even.
They're not taking anything.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a very specific cycle for when they do that. They haven't even opened it up at all.
It's just not.
Yeah, it's just sort of in limbo right now, as I believe. So those were just my. Oh, I'm sorry. Keep forgetting I'm charged. Okay, staff comments. Do you have any comments from staff?
To your point, Chair Hansen, about the board versus the commission. So we did check in with the clerk's office about that discrepancy, and I believe that their response is that both are, it's just a semantics. They're in charge of exactly the same thing. They're used interchangeably. Was the response I got back? So there is no difference between being considered a board versus a commission. Can we change it?
Can we just decide? Yeah. We're now the commission.
Why is it that you feel we should?
Because I generally, I think that people hold the title a little bit higher in their heads. Because they're in a lot of government, local governments, there are differences, and a board is generally a lower level, or they answer to another commission, before even it goes to city council. So that's what I was wondering, since we don't really report to anyone, you know, we go to directly to city council. Anyway, we could ask.
I agree.
I agree.
I mean, there's a reason it's called the planning commission and not the planning board.
Yeah.
Are we the only board of all the,
No, I
there
don't.
should be some consistency.
No, there are.
There are.
But are there other boards with different that report to commissions?
No, they're used interchangeably.
Is it
So
a human rights commission?
I believe it's the Human Rights Commission, but there are other boards, and I can't remember the exact.
So why don't we
list.
just, do we have to lobby for this, or what do we have to do? Can we just make a vote and say we're gonna be called the commission from now on?
I don't think that's how that works. Because it is tied to different, aspects of the code as well. So the way we're referenced in the municipal code. So there are ties to that, and it may not be as straightforward, but in terms of the functionality, the clerk's office did clarify that they are used interchangeably and the duties are
We're not considered support.
In Palm Springs, we're
Palm
okay.
But how would that be
Okay.
done? It could be added to the consent calendar for the council once it's written up. Didn't have to be a big discussion item.
Again, I think it's because it's tied to so many other things. It's just not about renaming ourselves.
I get it, but I mean, what do we, I don't want all the work on you to have to do it. Should we try to, rewrite it and
Can't we
redo
just-
it?
Why don't you just do a search and replace the
That's
word?
right,
Yeah.
that's what I
So
hit a
is
button, isn't there?
clarify. So is that because boards are referred to differently in the code, or just because everywhere in the code currently we're currently referred to as the historical site board?
We're referred to as a board in the municipal code and different documentations that the clerks hold for us. And again, I think the crux is that there is no difference in terms of the actual
Care about it. Whether there's a difference or not, it matters to us.
And I think again, I think it's really, the semantics piece of it would require a lot more, dealing with different, we'd have to, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like it's a simple correction that we would do.
It would have
on
cost
our-
attached.
Yeah, I think it would have to go to a council. Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah, you tack it on to, what do I just said, use the phrase where they just vote as a group, the motion. The consent calendar.
For them to actually implement it.
No, I know. Maybe
Something
maybe the city clerk can do it, or somebody. I don't know. It just seems like it shouldn't be an impossible thing. Oh my God! Search and
In our spare time.
search
Not
and
that
replace.
bureaucratic
All right,
things
all right.
should be
Well, I guess it's
simple
not a
and are
priority
not,
for
in
us.
fact, simple at all.
Leave it to me.
Seems like it's a priority to me. But. And you,
We still have the same power though, ultimately.
of course. It's just
Can we just refer to ourselves as the commission? Like, if we just
You
don't-
can.
So we just start referring to
I
ourselves
don't want my badge.
as the commission.
I'm gonna take a,
We can-
you know those
yeah.
sign things?
Get the
you-
We'll put little tags over
Alright,
little
I think
tables.
we need to move on.
Thank you.
It's supposed to be for just brief comments.
I have.
Oh, yes.
Wait, I have actually.
Oh,
I
I'm
just have a. Did you have a stuff?
In that regard, or you, or on staff comments, did you have?
Oh, sorry.
Just three quick things. Sandcliffe Historic District, has received a National Register, they were nominated for their National Register status, and so I did want to make that announcement. I think it's, been publicized, but
Did it go
it is,
Sacramento?
it is a, historic district on our local inventory, and they did receive National Register
So it's
status.
actually on the register?
April 1st.
Wow,
So I did want to, give that quick announcement.
that's great.
Um, in our, in our last meeting, we had an item 590, South Indian Trail that came before the board. I just wanted to report back that the subcommittee did meet with the architect and addressed all of the conditions that, HSPB had, put into their approval. And so those have all been addressed. They did meet on September 25th. And I just wanted to report back saying that the conditions and modifications were met. And then the last thing is the November meeting for HSPB will actually be in City Council chambers. I know we have a new large conference room, but it's related to scheduling. And so we will actually be meeting in the City Council chambers.
Add an item, I read, I think in the Palm Springs Post or one of the local news machines, that the Architectural Review Committee unanimously rejected the design of the house that was adjacent to the historic ruins.
Yeah, that was in the post this morning.
Which is a big deal. And it was unanimous, they rejected. And many of the reasons that they said that the neighborhood was, all those reasons that which is a big deal, because, we had lots of thoughts about this. So you might just want to add that as it goes through the process to see how, what ultimately comes of it.
Would it ever return to us or only if a new design was presented? for
It,
approval?
it would not come back to our
Or would-
board.
yeah,
It
it's
would
just
be,
staying there.
yes, so they would be finalizing their design with the ARC.
Okay. There's no trigger if it got completely redesigned.
big
Anyway,
deal.
flip back to Word done.
Because
Okay.
the design of the house
Okay.
goes, it's new. We were done, we had finished our comments and everything about it. It goes to the ARC. And
Yeah.
their comments were, it's too big, it's do
No,
this, do that.
yeah.
So what's your question?
My question is, so if the design of the project changes significantly, why wouldn't it come back to us? Because it's essentially, it is a new,
It's a new design.
it's a new design, it's a different project.
They are responsible for a design that deals with essentially exterior materials and certain aspects of the not the siding, but I mean whatever was recommended, it's not going to be a new project, so to speak, and so it wouldn't come back to us.
And the issues
would
we
stay with the
addressed were the relative relationship to the
Right.
ruins, the historical sites. So if that's established and maintained, we don't care. We don't have a voice in that.
Then if they are making alterations to or they're changing the design such that they're changing material and color palette and like massing or anything like that, then that does affect the site.
It's still within those are all within the purview of ARC.
Right, I'm not saying it's not within the purview of ARC, I'm just saying that if it's a materially different project, then if it's a different like building at the end of it, then it would have a different effect on the resource. Why wouldn't it come back to us? Because it would be I would have a different effect as a differently designed building.
But don't they have all of our comments related to a project as it relates to the historic resource? So they would still have all of that input as they move forward with a new design. They're not going to throw that away.
And Sarah,
disregard it.
you saying that on a technicality, they're saying it's not a new, even though the way you're describing it, it really kind of is. But it sounds like technically they're saying it's not.
It's a revision.
As long as they maintain our comments in their consideration
They should.
of any design, we regardless of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And again,
Or
our board provides the recommendations for that. It really is the purview of the ARC. And they would have to also apply hillside, review processes as
Right.
well, because that is why it's for, before them.
So my request is if you could keep us updated on how it progresses.
That's interesting.
Anything else?
I don't have anything else.
Do you have one? Did you want to make? a
This was
comment?
it. You asked me that, so I was gonna talk about the same thing.
Well, you
Oh,
were.
okay.
I took away your thunder. I'm sorry.
All right. Are moving on from new business, or I'm sorry, the reports and requests.
I guess I would like to make one observation, because I did talk a little bit about this out of school when I read this morning. It's amazing to me, as a new member, how significant the comments that this group makes to the Architectural Review Commission, which they obviously read. And I think it's critical that these kinds of critical reviews continue. For example, although I know it's not a purview to get into color and light fixtures, I was sort of aghast at the light fixtures in the building being presented today that are very non-1940s or 50s or even American. And I thought, but I guess that, is it okay to say that kind of stuff? Yeah, but stuff that looked like it, well, it's just not my style. I didn't think it was
Okay.
I mean, I talked about the lines, it just can't be in the, it's not in our purview in our decision.
to talk about that. Right.
All right, everyone, the Historic Site Preservation Board will adjourn to its regularly scheduled meeting on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025 at 5:30 PM. Due to room availability, which we already know that we will be meeting in council chambers, 3200 Conference Canyon Way, a different entrance, and it's cold.
Is that?
Thank you all for your participation. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah.